Today I'm here with Topo, owner of TS Designs. We're about to get into this interview, pick the mind of this guy and see why they call him the king of wide bodies. Welcome to 7Figlivin. I'm here with Topo, the owner of TS Designs. Let's find out why they call him the king of wide body.
I'm Topo, the owner of TS Designs. The cars wide body have been done for a long time. You know, it actually came from when I came out on the cover of Dove magazine a while back. You know, they said the king of wide body. That's what they labeled me, and ever since there, it just stood with me.
So how long have you been doing this?
Since I was a kid, I used to help out a neighbor down the street, you know, customize cars, and then it was all the lowrider thing. And when the new Charger came out, I said, you know, I got to do something different. And I got some wide wheels that back then everybody was tripping out. Now a lot of people have came out with them wheels, but I knew the wheels were gonna stick out on that car, and I already knew what I had in mind, you know. So I ended up cutting the car up and everything, and from there it just got people's attention.
Okay. Now before you had this shop, I've watched some of your videos on YouTube, and I did my Google search. You used to do this out in your driveway in a canopy.
Well, the reason I did that, I had a shop.
Okay.
And that's the time when I was doing the cars for a couple of these car wheel companies, and I did it at the house in the driveway, so I wouldn't be bothered by friends. People would think, oh, he's starting a driveway. No, I had the shop. I just wanted to do stuff at home when, you know, so I can get stuff done. Because, you know, when you got a shop, you got a lot of friends. They come and take up time, stuff like that. You know, not being rude or nothing. I said, you know what, let me just do them at home and get them, knock them out, which I did end up meeting the deadline, so, you know.
When was TS Designs born? When did you actually start the company, and when did the name come from?
You know, the name TS Designs started 3 years ago, actually. You know, I had a partner, and it was Topo, and then his name. That's what the S is for, you know. And he didn't go all the way through with it. You know, he got into some other stuff, so it's like I kept going with the name. So when people ask me, it's trend-setting designs, you know, because it's a trend we set.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
so it worked out.
You know, I ended up staying with the name because it's people knew the wide bodies through TS Design. So I mean, I'm not gonna switch it. And, you know, the name's already there. So that's where the name came from.
So what, you got any roadblocks coming up having this business? Any haters? What kind of struggles you had opening the shop up and keeping it alive?
There's a lot of struggles in life. You know what I'm saying? Not every day you're getting a paycheck, you know, on a car. You know, some cars take longer than others. But, you know, as far as deadlines is one thing that's a struggle. You know, hey, this guy wants his car and this and that. But like I always tell people, time has a lot to do with the finished product. If you rush it, you're going to notice that it's rushed. You know what I'm saying? You take the time, you know, it's going to come out, you know, a lot better. But there's struggles in life, you know what I'm saying? I don't show much of them, you know what I'm saying?
So how many employees do you have working for you here?
I got 5 employees.
5 employees?
Yeah.
Well, what kind of talent, or what do you look for in an employee before you bring them on board?
You know what? Part of the team? One thing I do is when I bring them, you know, as far as to work with us, I make sure that the other guy's comfortable, you know what I'm saying? Because like my main guys, if he ain't comfortable working with this guy, you know, it's like I'd rather have a crew that that's comfortable working with each other. Good environment, you know.
Like a family environment, like brothers, real brothers. All right.
I got approached by a production company. They wanted to come, you know, do a show. You know, they wanted to give me a reality show, and one thing they wanted was drama. And I'm kind of, you know, cool on the drama, you know. So I kind of like, you know, let off on that one. But yeah, you know, we try to keep it cool. That's what we look for. You know what I'm saying?
So do you have any affiliation, like with West Coast Customs, any other shops in the LA or Southern California area?
Main shops I deal with is JC's Custom. He paints a lot of cars for me. Forgiato Wheels is one of the wheel companies that I can go over there and say, hey, I need some wheels, you know. Okay, there's been times where I've gotten 2 sets of wheels cut the same day. That's one of the things, you know, with the companies that I pretty much deal with is Forgiato, JC's Customs, and, you know, there's a lot of different people as far as K&N air filters. They always hook up parts for the car. Speaking
of advertising and marketing, do you think social media helped your business grow?
Yeah, no, social media has been a big part of, you know, why I'm busy. You know, I post pictures of cars that I do, and like I want to show people a car, not a rendering. Most of the time when you show people rendering, yeah, you can have them sold on the rendering, but the car, you know, it's always cartoonish compared to what it's going to be like. So to me, it's like, I got a Lamborghini we did. You know, I think it's going to blow people's minds. If somebody has a Lamborghini that's been thinking about doing it, I'm showing them a car, not a rendering, you know. As far as I think I've gotten more goods than bads as far as on this whole social media, Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff, you know. So it has been a big part.
What motivates you to come into the shop and do what you do every day? Is it family? Is it money? Is it fame? What makes you come in and do what you do? The passion, or what is it?
Yeah, it's pretty much the passion. I mean, you know, pay bills, of course, you know, but be able to be around nice cars, you know, I mean, you know, I'm not gonna be able to jump in a Bentley, you know, and not saying it the wrong way, you know, working at Walmart or 9 to 5, you know, it's you know, what I've created as far as, you know, doing these cars, you know, I've been able to work myself up, and, you know, I've been fortunate as far as that, but yeah, that's where that's at, you know.
Is your family involved in the business anyway, or they just keep them separate?
No, my wife helps out as much as you can. Like, you know, she brings supplies, she does the paperwork here. My brother does running around for me, stuff like that. You know, my son helps me out when he's around, you know, stuff like that. But I mean, as far as working for me, you know, they got their own jobs, all that stuff, but they help out a lot.
You mentioned in Lowrider magazine. What other magazines have you been featured in?
You know, I've been featured in Lowrider magazine a few times. You know, I've been in Heavy Hitters 3 times. I've been in custom lowriding, traditional lowriding. I've been in a few. I've been in Dub magazine. As a matter of fact, the SEMA issue this year, you know, we hit the cover with 9 cars.
Okay.
And you know, it's good. It's a good feeling. You know what I'm saying? It's a good feeling. You know, I mean, like I said, back then it was one lowrider on the cover. This time we hit it with 3 Bentleys, 3 Mercedes, a Lamborghini, a Ferrari, a Challenger. You know, a lot of more expensive cars. You know, so I mean that's pretty good.
So with that good feeling, so today, do you feel TS Designs and yourself is successful?
It's just a job for me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and doing what I do, it gives me run around time, stuff like that. But like I said, at the end of the day, it has its goods and its bads. You know, some people you deal with, you kind of say, I should have never took that. Well, I will be honest with you, I've only said that one time, that I should have never took this guy's car. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, that was a big headache. But I mean, it's got its ups and downs, though. You know. So
you have all these cars at your disposal. What is in your personal fleet that you drive or that you have?
Only thing I can say I drive every day is my Dodge. That's the
Dodge?
Only thing, yeah.
That's the only thing you got?
Yeah, that's the only thing I got to drive, man.
So if you had like a wish list, or what would your top 5 cars be in your fleet?
Be honest with you, you know, I've had a few cars, you know, and that probably before I had them, I wish I could drive. But now it's at the point where I don't get excited about driving them. You know, you know, it's nothing. You know, I got these cars here and I can drive them whenever I want. But to be honest with you, I don't feel, you know, excited. You know what I'm saying, about driving them. So
okay.
Yeah.
So what projects you got going on today? Can you walk us around the shop and show me?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Or you want to maybe start off with this Bentley? Well, what did you do to this Bentley?
This Bentley, we painted it pearl white. And then we just did the interior and put the rims and the wall body kit. This is nothing big. We've got the strut grill on it. But this is just one of our drivers. You know, this is what we drive around whenever, you know, we got something going on and stuff like that. You know, so
it's not a beater, is it? It's not a hoopty or nothing?
No. We good. We good, man. I mean, it's just something we want to go ahead and go to the, you know, the Players Club bar or something and just jump in it. You know what I'm saying?
All right. How about this Bentley, this blue one right behind you?
This is a 2007 Bentley Flying Spur. On this one, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put a body kit, which is a full bumper add-on stuff. This one has the add-on stuff, but on this one, we're actually putting the whole, you know, changing up bumpers, different side skirts. We're gonna put 24-inch rims on this, and we're gonna change the color, make it more custom. You know.
So you're not gonna wide body this one?
No. This one we're gonna go and keep it like that. You know.
Okay. So how about this red Bentley? This one's, I've seen this at SEMA. It's all over the internet, all over the forums. Why don't you give me a rundown of what was done to this?
You know, this one right here, the owner of this one right here, I've done a few cars for him, and about 3 years at SEMA, 3 years ago at SEMA, I did a white Bentley, and I had brought his other car to SEMA that year. He seen the white Bentley I did, and he goes, "Hey, by the time you get back home, my Bentley's gonna be there. You know, we're gonna do it all up. You know." And this car came in, it was silver, had that bone color with like a royal blue interior. So he said, "You know what? Let's just do it all up red." This and that. I go, "You want it flamed up?" He said, "Yeah." So you know, we did a video when the car came in, when we broke it all down, when the car left in the rig, and when it got back out there. But this car's been out in Miami for a while because he's got a spot out there. So it's been getting a lot of attention, you know. Okay. But yeah, like I said, I did this 3 years ago. I put the 24-inch Forgey out with the 7-inch lib. And one thing you got to know about the Bentleys is they're all-wheel drive cars.
Okay.
So if you put a different rotation tire, you're going to mess up the tranny. So one thing I know is keep the same rotation all the way around. So that's what I did on this. You know, some people, I've gotten calls after this, people seeing this car, I want one just like that, but I want 26 in the rear, 24s in the front. At the end of the day, when you've got 2 rotations that's fighting each other, you're going to break something.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, we ended up doing this, a whole red interior, red paint, and this is original red off of a Bentley. It's called St. James Red.
Okay.
Yeah, but being all red like that, we spiced it up.
So when you do the wide body, is this all sheet metal or is this a kit or?
No, this is actually all sheet metal. What we did on this one came out 3 inches.
Okay.
And it's the original quarter panels. All we do is cut it all up at a certain point and we bring it out, to accommodate the wheel. But one thing we always do is we put the wheel on. When we put the wheel on, we make sure that the height is a difference on both sides. And then the gap is the same on both sides.
Okay.
So that's one thing that's important on the wheels, is put the wheel on and then put the quarter panel, make sure it's clear.
So now that it's wide body, how about safety? And all that. How does
As
that?
far as safety goes, I did some cars for a movie not too long ago, and I've been doing them for a actual big dealer, a car dealership out here. The cars are still under warranty for the fact that when we do this, all we're doing is playing with the actual sheet metal.
Okay.
We're not messing with the structure of the car. We're not cutting the roof off the car, and how that gets squeaked. But when I do like the cars for dealership, all it's doing is just bring the sheet metal out.
Okay.
So as far as suspension, it's the same suspension, same structure to the car. All we're doing is just adding a couple, not that much more weight because it's only sheet metal that's under here. You know what I'm saying? It's only a strip of maybe 3-4 inches of sheet metal.
Okay.
So
So what's going on with this Murcielago right here?
This Murcielago, this one belongs to one of my friends, and he has this and he has an Aventador. Well, this one right here, I called him up one day and I said, you know what? I said, I want to go ahead and do some work on the car. And he said, well, what do you got in mind? I said, well, you know what we do, So he goes, oh, I pick it up. So I picked this up and, he knew what I do. So I cut this thing up, brought it out 3 inches out on the rear, 2 inches on the front. And then coming close to SEMA, I said, you know what, if we paint it right now, we're going to rush it, as far as I had other stuff I had to work on. So we ended up getting sponsored by Avery on the chrome wrap. And at first we were going to do it the charcoal gray.
Okay.
But if we're gonna stand out, let's come out different. You know what I'm saying? As it is, the car's wider and it's looking more aggressive. So that's what we ended up doing with wrapping it for now. But to be honest with you, he's excited to get this car back. But he ain't gonna get it back till after SEMA.
After SEMA? Okay.
I should have the wheels. Tomorrow morning I'll have the wheels for this. This thing will be on the ground. We'll start detailing it all up. And Sunday morning it's on the trailer with the Corvette for SEMA.
Okay. Let's go ahead and talk about this little car right here. I've never seen anything like this in my life.
You ain't seen one like this?
Never seen anything. Most of my viewers will probably agree with me. They've never seen anything. So what's going on with this? What is this?
This started off as a little Razor 170, and I built this for my daughter.
Okay, it must be nice. Lucky
I mean,
daughter.
Yeah, she, I do for my kids what I wish could have been done for me when I was a kid. So I mean, when I'm able to do it, I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think twice. I put myself in their shoes. Being a kid. It's like
exactly.
You want something that's cool, and this thing right here, I just ended up doing the whole shelf for it. And they've been done before, but if you compare this to the other one, this one has a lot more going on, like the rotors. And them rotors are actually clocks.
Oh, okay.
They're plastic, but when you see them, the car actually rolls, the caliper stays still. And, I kept looking at the wheel. It looks so plain in there, without anything. So I got the pit stop furniture, the chair with the rotor and the, the shocks and all that stuff. And it had a rotor on the bottom. So I said, man, I got to get some more of these. And the mirrors came off of Sea-Doo and all that stuff. I took this to the Dove Show last year, and so many people are just tripping out because when my daughter pulled up, she was in front of, it was about 4 or 5 Lamborghinis, some Ferraris, and she was in front, and everybody was just like tripping on this one. But yeah, that's the thing with this. I built it for my daughter, and she rides around the parking lot.
So this is a one-off?
Yeah, this is a one-off right here. I mean, I ain't got time to produce them, which I don't even have that in mind. I just, to be the only one to have one like this is kind of,
Yeah, it's cool. It's got a
cool.
good feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, people come in and see what we're working on this and that. We got a Lamborghini here, you see them here and there, but when people walk in the shop, this is one of the things that, they trip out. Even though they're older, hey, when I was a kid, I'd love to have one.
Oh, yeah.
This gets a lot of people's attention right here.
Okay. So what's in the future for TS Designs, let's say in the next 2 years? Do you plan on expanding, getting a bigger shop?
Yeah, one thing right now is I got some good people behind me as far as my friend Ralph at RMD. He's helped me out a lot, and I just signed a holding agreement for a TV show, reality show, and I think the name's bigger than what I think, because a lot of people tell me, hey, hey, you sell this and that, and it's not. I don't know. I guess I don't think ahead. I just want to do what I can handle. You know what I'm saying? As far as a big shop, eventually, if everything does start blowing up, I will get a bigger shop. Right now, it's like, if it does get slow, it hasn't got slow for me. I've been busy, fortunate, but if it does get slow, at least I can be able where I can handle it and stuff like that. I've seen a lot of shops go under. There was a shop, it's a big shop, and I went over there one day. It's a well-known shop, I went over there one day, and I walk in. I tell the guy, I go, "What's up?" He goes, "Oh, none." He was red, and no workers there, none. I go, "What happened?" He goes, USA Today's on their way to come do a whole story on us, and we ain't got money to pay the light bill, And
oh, wow.
Man, so I mean, you're gonna look like fool. As big as the name is, I said, you don't want to look like a fool. And I don't wish bad on nobody, and I hope I don't get to that point. So I just want to be where I can handle it.
You already got the wide body. That's out of lock. Yeah. So is there anything other trend-setting themes or anything on cars that you see yourself doing or want to do with cars besides just wide bodies? And
everything we've done is a one-off. Like as far as, when we do the Camaros, we got to actually have the car. It's not a kit we sell, we got to cut the sheet metal and everything. But eventually, like I tell everybody, this wide body thing, it's a phase,
Yeah.
I mean, new cars are gonna keep coming out. I'm gonna keep doing so many of them, but eventually, it's the whole big lip wide body thing. It's just, gonna get old down the line. I mean, while this wide body thing's going good, let's just focus on this, and once we see it slowing down, then we gotta see what we're gonna do to keep going,
So if you got any viewers out there see a wide body, most likely it's this guy right here. Topo, I want to appreciate the time.
No, thanks.
Thank you very much, man. This is a humble guy, man.
Hey, thanks for stopping by, man.
My first celebrity interview, but you're humble. Good luck with you, and thank you for taking time with 7Figlivin.
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
I'm here whatever we can do,
All right. So it's gonna be 7FL and TS Design collab on projects going forward.
Sure.
All right. Thank you.
Like I tell everybody, keeping it gangster. Some of the people that have talked negative about what I do, I click on their picture, 14-year-old kid, or this guy over here has an old Celica. So I mean, stuff like that don't bother me. It's just they probably just had it rough in life. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, none of that bothers me. But when I was a kid, I was walking to school, and I seen this guy pull up in a Lamborghini Countach, and I'm at the light. I was a little kid. I'm at the light. And I'm just looking at the car, and I'm hearing the motor, and I said, man, that's nice, and I'm just looking as he took off down the road, I'm just hearing it, and not too long ago, I'm driving the Aventador, and when I come up to the light, I see a bunch of kids running up with skateboards and their bikes. Hey, that's a cool car. And I remember when I was there,
a kid, yeah.
But as far as the car goes, I mean, there's struggles, but I mean, I don't show it. You know what I'm saying? I just keep going with the cars, and people think, hey, he's doing good, but you know how it is.
Yeah.
There's struggles.
It's part of business.